the Troy CRC meeting. Today is July 16th, 2021, and the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 4th, 2021 board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Hold on 1 second.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
1 second.
And we started with the CRC.
I didn't know it was gonna take long.
are we doing CRC or?
Yeah, we're starting with CRC because Liz has to go.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry, my bad, sorry.
I forgot that.
I know.
Not just a click of a button to stream.
I was like, come on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Today is July 16th, 2021. I'd like to call the order of the Troy CRC meeting. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 4th, 2021 board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Sue, do we have a second?
Second.
Latasha, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I got one question. Were these in the email? I didn't see these.
Yes.
They were?
They were.
I just missed them. Okay, my fault, yeah.
It's okay.
There we go. 4 attachments.
So we did have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Next item on the agenda is governance committee report.
So I'll just be quick with it. We didn't meet. I had to cancel our last meeting of the governance committee. I think we're scheduled for next week at 2 on
The 20th.
Wednesday.
The 21st, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll have an update next month.
Is that going to be in person or Zoom?
We'll email and talk about it. I don't mind in person if you guys want to come in.
Okay.
I like in person. Okay.
So we'll have an update next meeting?
Yeah.
Hopefully, okay. Great. Well, item number 3 is sponsorship request. Liz Reese is here?
Hi.
How you doing, Liz? Floor is yours.
Okay, the Art Center of the Capital Region has partnered with the City of Troy and with CAP, and ColorWorks. So it's a number of groups come together to do a program called the Uniting Line, which is a mural project that will be under the Hoosick Bridge, which will be all 22 piers under the Hoosick Bridge. And we started this project about 2 years ago with a grant from Bloomberg Philanthropies for about $25,000. And we set out to raise about $200,000 to do all of the paintwork under the bridge. And the idea is to really bring some of the positive development from downtown into North Central to unite these two neighborhoods. That's where the title of it comes from. And the idea to kind of highlight and improve the quality of that neighborhood to the degree that it becomes an area to be celebrated rather than one to drive through or pass through as quickly as humanly possible. Almost 18 months ago, we did surveys under the bridge, and we showed the residents different imagery and different questions about their safety and what they liked about the area and what they didn't. And that's where we began to pick out the artwork that would be there. As the project continued and DOT was doing the work that they were under the bridge, it wasn't clear to us whether they would be doing a fresh coat of paint under all of those piers or not, right? How would they leave that job? And it appears that they left it a little less ideal than we had hoped. We had hoped that they would do a fresh coat of paint on the whole thing, which would have put us in a better position to do the artwork painting on it, right? They've declared their job done, and now the partnership has to do an undercoat, which has increased our budget enormously to about $250,000. We're working with a commercial painter. We set it out to bid. We did a construction document. We put it out to bid. It looks like we're hiring Ryan Painting to do the job. And once they're finished, we can then do the artwork. The artist that we chose is a Troy-based artist named Jade Warwick. Here it is right here. Thank you, Danae. You're welcome. Danae's been on this committee too, so she knows this work very well. What you see with Jade's work is it's very floral or natural. There's a lot of leaves, and if you want to blow up on, if you can, Danae, on maybe the bottom image, or any of these, if you scroll into anything, you can see, that's fine, anywhere in here. So you can see what the artist is going to do. It's going to be a veritable garden under there with then about 20 different characters up and down these different piers. And the characters are personifications of different stories that she's hearing from the Troy residents. She's been going around to different community centers. It won't be directly, this is so-and-so, but moreover, the kind of people that are living there and the activities that they do, singing, skateboarding, whatever it may be. And it's hard to imagine this area having that kind of bright and colorful, treatment on it, but indeed, that is the plan. And, I think it's just gonna be a really wonderful benefit to the whole community, not just that one streetway, as people come and see this. It's very ambitious, the community has been talking about it a lot, the region's been talking about it a lot. It's the largest single painting mural project that's being done at one time in the region. Most of these projects are kind of done one pier at a time. I have been raising money for over a year. Most of the local foundations have helped, Troy Savings Bank Charitable Foundation, Howard and Bush Foundation, private gifts, the Troy Redevelopment Foundation, and some development money. And I am out of time and out of resource, and I'm turning to you to finish funding the project.
Thanks, Liz. Anyone have any questions for Liz?
I have a question. So was there any, budget at all for underpainting? So that was not anticipated at all? Is it?
Not to this degree, we thought we would have to do some, but we didn't know, and maybe it's an issue with the pandemic as well, that bid would come in as high as it did. This isn't something that the Art Center does every day. Next time, we'll have a better budget.
Do you think the increased budget is due to the increase in paint and, lack of inventory and?
It's not clear to us. We did not anticipate having to do the job in its entirety. We thought that maybe we would have to fix a couple piers that DOT left, maybe not in the best condition. We didn't think that we would have to do a full undercoat. I think it's a little bit of both, though, in that there's that new undercoat, need. Some of our other expenses, renting lifts and whatnot, have lifted up a little bit. Like, we had a contingency budget originally that this also got absorbed by. But also in fundraising, we took it as far as we could, and maybe I thought that we would raise a little bit more money here and there, but that seems to have dried up. So it's a little bit of both, not coming together perfectly. I don't want to blame it all on DOT, that would be irresponsible. There's other issues at play with a project like this, that when you go into it, you're not entirely sure how it's all going to play out.
So you're looking for 143?
Actually, no, so the 100,000, I think that was a miscommunication when Dylan spoke with Liz, so they don't need the cash flow. All they want is 43,000
Okay.
now, the 100,000 now.
And that would be a grant?
It would be a grant.
What's the time frame?
We are hoping to sign with Ryan, we're just doing some insurance papers back and forth this week. They are anticipating starting painting August 1, and, the whole project should be done by frost. So September 30th is our goal.
How many people will be employed by doing this?
Well, I can't speak for Ryan's job, but over at the Art Center, what we're doing is the lead artist received a significant contract that will better her life. She lives over on Pauling Avenue, actually. And then we have about an $80,000 budget to hire painters. So, probably about between 30 individuals will get employed. If you look at the budget, you'll see that a lot of it is in people hiring. In that, there will be a superintendent and an artistic director, and they get about $30 an hour, and then you get senior painters, apprentice painters. This is set up to help people learn how to paint. So the model is that a senior painter gets paired with an apprentice who learns how to work the lifts, figure out how to use projector, how to become better at mural painting. There's a lot of planned training in here. We also have a volunteer and internship level as well.
What,
How long will these murals actually last, the environment?
The paint itself is, well, we also have a graffiti building going on up to about 10 feet in terms of how people are normally getting graffiti on it, so that can be clean. It doesn't mean that the paint would tell us, it just means that it's easier to stay clean, that it's easier to clean. It's like a lacquer nail polish. The vibrancy should last anywhere between 5 and 10 years. We have told the artist that, her work has to last 5 years, meaning that if anything starts flaking off or painting off, she has to come back and fix it. That's a normal way that you work with an artist, that they have a guaranteed.
And that's at their expense?
Yes.
Okay.
and then after that, it's kind of normal fading. But it should be vibrant for at least 2 weeks.
And if you look at what was under the Congress, the Green Island Bridge, I mean, that lasted quite a long time, and it was just repainted, and that was certainly more than 10 years.
Yeah. There is not a lot of direct sunlight under there, which helps things stay more bright. So it should last, I mean, the one that's on, the Art Center did the mural on the Troy Savings Bank wall about 20 years ago now, and that's still very bright. So there's just no implicit guarantee. It's just more looking at these things over time.
Will the Troy Bot picture be painted over?
No.
No, the Troy Bot is under the, bridge, and that one is in good shape and fine. This location is different. Speaking about that, though, there are some smaller murals that are on site. Some of the piers have been painted many years ago. Those artists have actually been, talked with, and they're fine with their work being painted over. There's another one on the basketball court that will be repainted at the same time through a different program and different funding. So the whole place will kind of be lifted up all at once.
And a question probably for the city more than yourselves, is there gonna be lighting?
That's the next phase that we're working on, how to fundraise, and is it going to be utilitarian? Will it involve an artist? Is it going to be task lighting with different experiences that may take place below? Eventually, yes, once we get the full master plan of that area, then it's sort of, speaking for the city, sorry, but it's all part of the overall thinking of how we're trying to approach the space.
So, I got 2 questions. How much goes to the painter? What percentage of the
There should
budget?
be, I think there's an $80,000 number in there, I don't have it in front of me.
It says site prep and painting for 166 or artist design for 21.5.
Okay. Oh, excuse me, there was another budget that I submitted that had greater detail. Yes, please, if you might have it in your packet, it's an Excel sheet. Because that was a fundraising budget that I gave greater detail. So when we look at this with the greater detail, you'll see painters' hours at 88,000, and that's what we're hiring people with. Underpainting at 45 is the contract to Ryan. So if you take 88 and you divide it by an average of $25 an hour, that's how many hours and how many people. It's hard right now, we don't know if one person is going to work, 500 hours, or it's gonna be 10 people working 50 hours. We're hiring them now, and putting together the scheduling matrix.
This is your payroll that you're running through, or your?
It's going to be a contract, it'll be all through the Art Center, that's gonna be
Okay.
contracted.
Insurance, heights, lifts, that's, yeah.
That's the DOT the DOT permit, has different insurance requirements that we have to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime people are above ground, yeah, okay.
So that's one of the reasons why, we haven't contracted quite yet with Ryan. We're hoping that they hold one permit for their work, and then the Art Center holds a different permit for their work, so that we're not, the Art Center can insure Ryan, we've got that sorted out if that's what it comes to, but they're a general contractor and we're not.
Right,
So
right.
we want to be a little sensitive to that.
Well, that'll, sorry, again.
Okay. So the artist that comes up with the concept, this is her 20,000?
So she received a total of 20,000. The 1,500 that you see there was 3 $500 grants for all the finalists to do renderings to get them to be considered. So the way that we did this was a call for artists to the community. We got 16 really viable applications. A committee of people picked 3 finalists. Those finalists were given $500 to do a fuller set of renderings, and so that's how that number came together.
And why do you need 20,000 for marketing? Why do you have budgeted 20,000 for marketing?
We don't anymore. That was our original cost, and it's not in it now. So what you see with the original budget cost was what we intended to do, and the projected is where we are now. I'm sorry if that wasn't more clear. So if you use the column to your extreme right as the guide of where we are today.
Okay.
Hey, so this, it looks like grants year-to-date, 35.
Yeah, this is not in there, so that includes, the grant to, remember now.
But they're all set, that's done.
Yeah, that's all done.
There'll be a 43 on top of that.
Yeah.
So will that area be closed off to kids in the community for the
It
2 months?
actually, as it plans, we should only be able, there's enough width of sidewalk to do about 50% of the work without even closing anything off, really. And then, the city, we should be able to close one lane at a time. So no, it won't be, it can't be. We cannot stop traffic through there.
Maybe not so much traffic, what, like, I know, like, the basketball courts and whatnot.
No, that's
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
And just other stuff that's going on under that bridge is, we have done construction documents right now to continue the bike trail, the riverfront, the river walk, really it's not a bike trail, the river walk. We're doing the grant application right now behind the hotel and under the bridge. And the city's also looking at doing some additional park space, kind of hardscape park space in that area on the south side. I think there's like a skateboard park there.
So
So it's really active, a lot of stuff to really make this space usable and enjoyable instead of what it is right now, which is, yeah.
who's the, construction manager?
That would be TAP,
Okay. So tax is 10,000?
yes.
When do you anticipate the remainder of this confirmed income?
I don't know how the cash flow of that will go. We have their commitment, but we don't have their cash. I don't have a timeline on that. I'll deal with that separately.
PRF's pretty good,
I'll deal with that.
yeah, all of, most of it, which, I don't know how Bloomberg works, but the rest of it.
Bloomberg is in, so it should be in there that you'll see which grant was already received and which grant we're waiting for. Right now, we're mostly waiting for the Troy Redevelopment Foundation, which actually can be a little slower than most.
So that's increasing from 50 to 75?
As we thought all the developers would just go, yeah, sure, here's all this money, which of course is, a little, ambitious on our part, and they've been able to increase their commitment.
And
So it looks like there's just a couple of them that were.
So
Waiting
Mastery,
for-
for example, I forgot to invoice them, so we've been going back and forth, and she'll send that check right away. We have their pledge.
And then we have First
Um,
Columbia.
That I've invoiced them and waiting on the payment.
Who gets the administration?
The Art Center,
Okay, so you get 18,000.
correct. We've spent 18 months on this project at this point. I could put the hours out, and we are losing money from that point of view if we wanted to lay that out. We've spent a lot of time with the community. We, the evaluations that we did, the intersects at that point, we then hired collective effort to go through and create documents and videos to talk about the project. We then hired local activists to spread that out. We put door knockers on every single door from King Street up to Dow Street, up to Middleburg. I mean, we saturated the area. We did a call to give feedback on our website. We received hundreds of, we won't call them votes because we didn't want it to be a vote campaign, but for the purpose of today, we received hundreds of feedback elements. We had a community committee. We put a lot of time into making sure that the community would connect with and value the art that was there.
How many years has this entity run end of year in a negative?
The CRC,
Yeah.
it usually runs in the negative, and then once every 5 years or whatever, so we need to, I know you're concerned, and I look at that too, I mean, it's a lot of money, we did just get 2 major influxes of money, and we don't know when the next one's going to be, so we're always watching that.
Okay.
But we are starting to, with Dylan, reach out more to the nonprofits as they undertake projects to use us for bonding, so that we'll get additional fees. So we are trying to step that up, but.
To bring in some revenue.
Yeah. No, I'm concerned about how much we have been asked for and used this year. On the other hand, we will be stepping that up, and I think we'll probably try and, with next year's budget, limit what we're gonna do and get into it. We didn't really budget into this an amount in the CRC on what we were gonna offer out for grants this year. It was a low amount, and we gave out more than we budgeted, but, again, I think this is this project in that area is a really great area to pull downtown into North Central, which is an area that, really needs to be connected, so I get your concern, but I think, we're good for a number of years.
Do you have any questions for Liz regarding the request?
I know, I'm happy to go on and on about this project, I love it, so any more detail I'm happy with.
What's the evaluation expense?
So part of the grants that we received from Bloomberg was interesting. They gave us criteria that we needed to do pre-evaluation and post-evaluation. They wanted to give us the tools to prove that public art made a difference so that we would be able to use that process again, or to prove to groups like this that we've moved the needle of safety, civic pride, community engagement. So last year in October, we did this evaluation to that end. We have been working with the city to look at traffic speeds, accidents, arrests. There's a criteria that Bloomberg asked us to put together to choose from. They had a lot of choices. We then chose what would work in that site. So we have a baseline of that kind of criteria. And then after the project is over, we have to do it again. So for example, one of the questions was, do you feel invested in this community? And that was on a 1 to 5 scale, I think, or maybe 1 to 10, I don't remember. And then, do you feel others invest in this community? And so we asked that question again, and we'll see whether or not our passerbys, our walker-bys, have any different opinion or their own investment or what it may be. There were other questions as well. And then also it's kind of cute because we asked if you lived nearby or you didn't, and if you split the questioning from there, if you sort out the data from those 2 points of view, information changes, which I found interesting as well. So that's what that is about. So that was a condition of one of the grants, but it's taught me a lot, and I'm glad to do it.
When do you expect for these other institutions to provide you with their grants? So about another $105,000 right here.
Mastery's going to do it within the week. Troy Redevelopment told me the first one's moving soon.
First one out of,
So each was it $25,000 a year is how that worked out, because this project is so old that one is from FY21, one is FY20, 21. So they're in $25,000 chunks. They said the first one's moving soon.
so you would get the last one next year
I
after the
don't think
project's
so. I
done?
think the 50 is from 1 year, but they were just done as 3 separate asks. So in my mind, I talk about them as 1, 2, 3. It's not clear to me. If I get a letter of pledge from Troy Redevelopment Foundation, a document, the Art Center can go and open up its lines of credit that it already has with Pioneer Bank. We already have an ability to do that. I just don't want to start carrying fees if I don't have to. And I would believe a pledge letter, I'm fine with that. And then I have a $50,000 line of credit with Pioneer that I can use, and then I can go from there.
Anyone else have any other questions for Liz?
Again, I can go on and on. Not that that's a threat, but.
Is there any way it could be lower for 2021 and then look at
Lower
it next year? The
Your
amount?
gift.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You guys can discuss that.
Well,
Like say it was say for this budget, 25,000, based on the need, and then if you need more.
I know we need more, so I'm not sure how to answer that.
Would you feel more comfortable if maybe we approve it a certain amount and then subject to all the other companies or grant programs to provide their grant and see?
I think they're all good. I think that,
Yeah.
I'm not in the least bit worried about that and the integrity of their commitment. I just wonder if it's gonna leave, and again, historically, you're really the only person that can answer this question for me. Does this eliminate anything, the rest of the year for anybody else getting anything?
I would say that's up to, it's up
Like how
to you.
far?
I don't wanna do much more this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't probably, but again, it's pretty late in the year. I don't anticipate anything. I shouldn't say I don't anticipate anything else coming in, because people have contacted me, but I haven't gotten anything officially.
Okay, so there's nothing lingering that
No.
will appear in next month's agenda that
No.
we would have, okay.
I don't anticipate. Okay.
Okay. I know, anything can happen.
I mean, I would be grateful for any level of support, obviously. We're kind of at the end of the road in that I have been raising money for over a year, and, I'm at the point where the Art Center has already used invitations for Art Center funding for this project. So the way that grant makers go is you only get a couple times a year that you're allowed to ask them for money. And I can't go to Troy Savings now for a project for the Art Center. I can't go to Howard and Bush now. So I'm at a point where I've kind of maximized my relationships to the best that I can, and I wouldn't be here if I had anywhere else to go. It can be that as the Ryan contract locks in and other things lock in, we know that there's gonna be a difference plus or minus a couple $1,000s, but that's really where we're at.
You also get part of this, curatorial planning?
Yes.
Okay. So that's split between you, TAP, and,
TAP and CollarWorks. So CollarWorks, did most of the work with the Call for Artists and the community, the Artist Advisory Committee at that time.
okay. So that brings you up to 23 and TAP
It does.
15, yeah, okay.
And I would easily tell you that our curator spent about half her year on this, and that's about half her salary, and fringe.
And 2020 was not good for the Art Center as far as revenue goes.
Can't begin to tell you. But to do this in the way that social responsibility art making is right now, it's a very intense hour-by-hour project. You can't just lay this on people anymore. You have to really make sure it's something that works for them and that they want. And that engagement is, in depth, and it takes time.
If there's anything out of that grant.
And you were saying you anticipated completion in September?
It's, yeah.
Might be a little
that's
too much
in-
of a stretch.
You know, if anything goes wrong, but obviously that's what we're hoping.
Maybe
Maybe the first week in October, but by October 10 or so, it's not good for the paint.
Whack-a-mole.
So we're up against the wall that way, yeah. This includes all of the permitting time, the issues around insurance, all the fundraising time, all of that the Art Center took on.
Okay. I think we got
You got a
a lot of
handle on it?
information.
All right.
Anyone else has any questions or comments regarding this request?
Comments, it's time to start investing more north of Hoosick, so that's a good start.
Noted. Okay,
I'll let you guys discuss on your own then, that's probably a
We
good
can go to
idea.
executive if you want, it depends on how you guys want
thank you, Liz.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
If somebody wants to, we can go into executive session, or if somebody just wants to make a motion.
Yeah, I guess so.
We gotta figure out what the motion is, what level of funding, come to a consensus, and then determine how, because I think the application outlined a grant and a loan.
There's no loan.
There's no loan.
All right,
There's no loan.
that simplifies things a
Yeah,
bunch,
just
but-
a grant.
Do you want to move into executive to discuss?
I don't need to, no.
Okay, then,
But just a quick question,
yes.
so on this, it looks like there's something that was cut off, so just wanna, and-
On your
and box-
application, Liz.
yeah, so it's Franklin Alley, another project completed partnership with the city of Troy, and then just wondering what was under that?
Okay, it's another project completed in partnership, I think that's the end of it, the city of Troy, so that was the Franklin Alley, they supplied the money for that. They were part of our match, actually, for the National Grid grant that we're still waiting to get, but that was the LDC, not the CRC.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know where
okay,
it
yeah.
is.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, so the last paragraph, okay, that's what.
Sorry.
Read it.
Where is that?
Now, can you move that up a little bit?
It's like one
Oh.
of the PDF boxes. You have to-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
The other
scroll-
direction,
scroll it
the
down.
other- scroll it down.
I don't know why it didn't fit on the printed copy.
Alright. Thank you.
PDF.
PDF kind of just like prints the screen, I think.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
where that's almost like a scroll down, I think,
I
but
printed those.
it's all right, we got it now.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be from top to bottom on these, on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think, we've we just completed the Hoosick Hillside study in that area. This is just another thing that kind of supports any other funding that we go for, be it the city, you know, that supports what the city may look for to do additional work there, either for lanes or, traffic calming or intersection modifications. You know, the more we can show, the more community involvement, the stronger it makes any application.
It may not be like a direct answer, but has the community responded to like the other murals that have been painted recently?
I have not heard anything bad.
Good,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so,
And the ones older were, they were just done.
Repaint,
Like,
redone.
you know, and when it had the, I don't know if you remember, it was like Magic
Yeah,
Johnson
it was
and.
Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, when it was basketball court.
Mhm.
yeah,
That was
and
definitely
anything.
here.
Yeah,
This building-
yeah.
Decided this building was done 2 years ago, I think people really like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we won't go into executive session, it sounds like, and, I will then make I'll ask for a motion to approve the full $43,000 grant for the Uniting Line project.
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie, do we have a
Oh,
second? Latasha? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. You wanna call her into other good news? If she's still here?
She left, she was somewhere else, text her and let her know, she
Yeah.
was gone.
I think they should be, it'll be a nice little, great, I think that'd be good over there. Okay, where were we now? The sponsor request, next item on the agenda is the executive director's report.
Let's see, just that, we are moving forward on the Second Avenue project, First Avenue project in Lansingburg, between 109th and 123rd, just on the design on that, we'll have public outreach probably mid-August. So, that's really all I have. That is all I have.
Anyone have questions about that project? Next item is financials. Mary Ellen?
Okay. The first report is the statement of financial position. As of 6:30, our total assets are $558,851.96, with $548,851.96 in cash. We have a credit of $238 in liabilities for fund balance of $559,089.96. The most significant changes to the statement of financial position is the bond payable. This is the preservation bond between the IDA and the CRC. The next report is the statement of activity for the month of June. We have a $44,519 surplus due to an administrative fee collected from RPI. The most significant expense was a grant, which was for the 112th Street, park.
Good. And I guess it's, you know, after approving that
It was
grant,
for the First Avenue project.
Okay, First
That
Avenue,
was project.
Friends of 112th
Oh.
Street.
Friends on, the grant,
Yeah.
the grant for the concert
Right,
series,
yes.
for Powers
Powers
Park.
Park.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Like, okay.
anyone have any questions for Mary Ellen regarding the financials? Okay, we have a motion to approve the financials.
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie, do we have a second? Albert, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thanks, Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
Steve, any, new or old business?
None.
None, okay. That was easy. We have a motion to, adjourn the meeting. Sue, do we have a second? Stephanie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Okay, so,
like to call the order of the Troy IDA meeting. Today's July 16th, 2021. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 4th, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes? Sue, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Stephanie, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Second item on the agenda is the governance committee report. Steve, doesn't look like there's any update on that.
There's no update on that. We'll meet next Wednesday, and our next meeting
Next Wednesday, okay.
at 2:00. And I don't know if that's in person or on Zoom yet.
Feels good to be in person though. So then, item number 3, Steve, executive director's report.
I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, and I don't know if it was in, so the pilot on the Flanagan building, which was, if you remember, the one on the report, did not do the project. So that has been extinguished at the request of the developer, so now that's on the tax rolls. The pilot on the Uncle Sam garage has been extinguished as well, at the request of the developer, so now they're fully taxable, both of them. I don't know if that means the net to the city is more or less, because I don't know what the pricing, what the value of those were, especially on the Uncle Sam garage. But just wanted you to be aware of that. 500 River Street, which is the storage building across the street, 500 First Columbia. They slowed down during the project because of cost of materials, and now they're starting up again, and they're asking me for an extension of the sales tax exemption. So that's basically something I can do. I just want to inform you that I'm going to be doing that so they can finish their project. Let's see, and I believe that's it for my executive director's report.
Okay. Any questions for Steve?
No?
All right. Any old and new business?
Old business, King's Landing, which we had one meeting for, King's 2, so that is still going through the planning commission. Has reconfigured their project, and so that'll start this month. I imagine it'll be on again in August, so just delayed, still out there. Riverwalk, which is one on River Street right across from Terra Kitchen that we approved a while back, that has been delayed because of the city. Because of the city getting back to them with some reverter releases on property. So I'm trying to kick that free.
You got financing?
I'm not sure now. It sounds like they're looking for, they may have.
They were with CPC, and I think maybe they're shopping it around, just because that was from a year ago, I guess, so.
But it has taken us a while to get back to them on the reverter release. But I think we've come to terms, we just haven't given them their cert. Yeah, there's a sewer line and a water line that they wanted to build over.
Well, I just been suspect that because he had cash flow issues, that's why he came to us to get, whenever somebody's talking about cash flow, they can't get somebody to approve a loan for cash flow. That's a problem.
Red flag.
Yeah. So, and that building, he's been working in that building for what?
Years.
Yeah,
So the one in the corner?
It's right in the middle of the block. It's right across from Terra Kitchen, so it's probably
Okay,
mid-block, and it's got, if you look up, you'll know which building it is.
I mean, I walk behind, I run behind it all the time, it's like holding.
Yeah. That's it for old business. New business, I just have an update, but I'll probably want to go into executive session for that after financials. It's only an update.
Okay. All right then, so, next item is financials. Mary Ellen.
First report is a statement of financial position, and as of 6:30, our total assets are $419,281, with $245,194 in cash. We have $11,249.81 in liabilities. So our fund balance is $408.31.23. The most significant change to the statement of financial position is in the bond payable. That's the preservation bonds between the IDA and the CRC. The next report is the statement of activity. For the month of June, we have a $5,118 deficit. The most significant expense is in legal, also an ordinary expense amount.
Any update regarding the accounts receivable report?
I need
I think it's just one.
It's just one, we've gotten everything taken care of, so that was a late payment. No, I need to reach back out to them. They're actually, I'll be talking to them because they're having their Restore New York grant public hearing next Tuesday. That was $1.5 million that they got from the state for that project. But they are, I think we've talked about it, they're done, they're open, they're probably right now nearly fully leased out.
I was gonna say they also requested copies of some things, so I think they're aware.
Yeah.
What's that 1900 for?
I'm sorry?
The 1900? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, 444, no, I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't see that because it was down below.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, Steve.
Yes. No,
That
I was talking,
$1,900 is a late fee,
Oh, okay, all right.
and they have requested some copies from us.
Copies of like the agreement,
And the invoice.
the invoice, okay.
Which one is this?
Vecino.
444 River Walk.
Oh, okay.
Anyone have any questions, Mary Ellen? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the financials?
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Albert, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay, right now I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session, to discuss, real estate negotiations. Do we have a motion? Sue, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we're going into executive session. No action.
I'll just state that, no, you're just saying, okay, no actions will be, yeah, no actions will be
I just
taken.
have to figure out how to turn,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to. I just close it out even.
That's delayed. Are we off?
The red light is
Yeah, hold on.